Let's go. But this is about it takes about an hour to hour and a half to play this. Please make sure audio is on. Okay. Controls. WASD. And a mouse button.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Okay.
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
I don't know, Diagon. I honestly don't know. Warning, Whisper machine status active. Evacuate immediately.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Let's go this way because it's got a light. Oh, light is blocked. How did I miss that the first time?
Security call breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
Uh-oh.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force
Oh, do it. Good night, Moon.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Star Citizen! This is us walking out in the motor crew, right? Walking out on the space station. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Thank you. Jesus Christ.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper Machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper Machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Could we give ourselves to save everybody else? Sure, we can.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Good night, Wybook. What? Oh. Okay. This is definitely Star
The beam
Citizen.
causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. The past was behind her. Okay. We can't move anywhere. I can jump. I can crouch. But I can't move. Oh, there we go.
In this game, you can only walk backwards.
What? You can only walk backwards. You're fucking kidding, right? And what sort of lunatic would make a game where you can only walk backwards? You gotta be a loon, right?
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative.
What?
It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. Walking backwards is a $5 DLC. How will she find her strength? Where's the door? What?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
We're still November 2008. Okay. This is definitely kind of weird. You are now entering. Entering what? What are we entering?
And that's it.
What?
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. December 2008. Okay.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him.
Let's go up here.
And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Of course we're supposed to go up here, right?
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay. Let's go. What's in the door? What's in the door? Stand on an X. Bear. What the fuck? Parachute or something? But what?
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
You play as loud, bodiless sound.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You are a gate. You are a queen. Dust in your jewelry, you. What? Well, it's more of an experience really than the game, isn't it? It's like Stanley Parable wasn't much of a game. It was more of an experience. I mean, that's what this is. I mean, the thing that made Stanley Parable, the thing that made Stanley Parable great was the narrative on it and the commentary.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
What?
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're going to see it a lot.
Okay.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room. How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Now we're back here. You are now exiting. Okay.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Goldfish cracker. The Great and Lovely Descent. Ah, look at this. It's a house.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
The Streetwise Fool.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Whoa.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
No! Woo! We almost fell. How do I know where we're going? Are we supposed to be getting down to the bottom? I guess we are, right? No fall damage! I don't think he's going to be quiet, Conan, because that's the whole point of this game. Is that he's not quiet. Where are we trying to go? We just keep going down? Is that what we're trying to do? Ah, okay, we're trying to get down there, I guess. Right down at the bottom. Right. We found the bottom, found the god. Okay. Whoa. What? It's definitely dictating where we're going. Wait, we can go one way. And
this prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Low. Hour?
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
I don't know, Diamond. Hey, Hamrock.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over.
Because it's simple.
I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Venom Snake. You there, did you come from up above?
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Ah, did you come from up above? What was up there? Yes, there was a world's temple of whiteness. It was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating color blocks. Now an important question, did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches. Yes, I did. It's nice for you before coming here. Yes. Tell us how you solved it. I don't remember how I solved it. I didn't solve it. What? You don't want to go over here. Do you understand? It's the most important thing in the world. We have to escape the prison. There must be an ending. I promise you there's nothing I want more. Okay. See you later, Silver. Wait. Okay. Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? Why not? You actually find blank space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? What? I don't recall a space between the doors. Yes. Don't worry, you'll visit it again soon. Be sure to pay attention. So, the blank space between the doors. What's he talking about? We have a look for the blank space between the doors. The blank space.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Ah, okay, so low diagram. Welcome, Silver. And I look forward to it. Whatever is going to happen.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Okay, lampposts. Yeah, probably. Definitely diagram. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Okay. Nice room, notes.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me.
Hello.
And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Free t-shirt. Need other side. Make game and close door. Can't open door. Open sesame. Hello. Hey, Awesome Force. That Falcon Punch. I don't know, you know, it's I couldn't say I have either Falcon Punch. I would like very much to be desired. Okay. Congratulations, I don't know where to go with this. You can go in here. Don't bother. This is where I get off. I failed to write anything. I am compelled. Stop, turn back. Take my hand. Let's jump together. Cabbage, what cabbage shapes our nation? Ew, I'd hope not. What is that painting? It does look a bit weird, doesn't it? It does not matter if you ever... What? Talk to me about that. What? Very good game. I think this is not going anywhere. Next time I'll do better. I need to talk to someone. He invented grilled cheese. Ah, okay. I am not safe. It does look like a bit of a weird painting, doesn't it? Look at it. Stop faking it. Painting, what does this mean? Whoever painted this has issues. Yes. Who the hell are you? Look at it. It's interesting, I suppose. Well, all dies someday. Stop pretending you are other people. It doesn't mean anything. Cabbage shapes our nation. Repeated notes. From up here, it looks like just dots. It does look like just dots. Devil Tower, stop. Yeah, I mean, the ones you've looked at, they're grayed out, so you can see which ones you've been to, because the ones you've looked at, they're grayed out, and they do say the same thing. So it's graying out the ones you've read, right? Maybe I'll be real someday. Be a real boy. There must be a reason for it. His terrible secret. He kept it well. I beat the game. What? You liar.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Okay. Downward.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Help! Help! Doesn't make sense. Shit, how do I solve it? Developer, answer please.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Oh. How do you leave notes? Yes. There's the lamppost. Please say something. It can't be anything. I just need you. Talk to me. Speak. Oh, Coda seems like he's a very interesting character, right? He definitely seems like an interesting character. Ah, Paul's
this one is tough.
died too.
It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay. So this one's tough, he says. It's a bit tough. It's a weird house, isn't it? What other game is this? What type of game is this? I would guess it's like a narrative experience.
This is
right?
it, the whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
How about a TV? Okay. What about on the wall? A picture of a horse. Yeah, why not? I think we should light this room. A skylight, false ceiling. Let's open this baby up. You need a table. We've got a table right here. Right here. We got a table right here.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
It's like a furniture shop. This is
so, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Version 3. Hello, please walk forward. Okay. This guide will enable you to escape the prison. Okay. Follow the instructions. First, click this table. Go to the photo frame and click it to turn slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in the room off, then turn it back on. Okay. Now go to the left side of the sofa and move it a little. What? Finally, touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will open. Return to the start to be taken to the prison. What? Return. What?
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Okay. I like it now. It's cool. It is interesting. It is different, right? It's different. I could use a torch. There's a phone box. Are we going to go into the phone box and put on our Superman suit like, you know, like Clark Kent does? Hey, it's me. What? You're me? So you're trapped in a prison too?
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Being here sucks. True. It did suck. Prisons suck. What do I have to do? What? Tell me how you feel right now. What? Coda's a little bit odd, isn't he? I feel afraid that nothing will ever change.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Okay.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Let's check out inside the house, right? What? Door shut, we can't open it. Oh, look, there's a dude. There's a dude. Clean. Bedroom's a bit of a mess. Got a mirror that doesn't work. Well, my goodness, I'm glad as all heck you showed up. But having to clean this entire house by myself. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. What?
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Where's the grill? Could you please clear the table? I don't know, can we clear the table? Sure, we can do that. Would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? Yes, sure we can. We're very good at making beds. While you're in there, can you straighten out the rug? Yeah, sure. We can do that. What little details matter? Do you enjoy a house cleaner? How'd you end up doing this job? Let's ask him now. My friend dragged me along at a time when I was particularly desperate for cash. Turns out I never felt so good. Never did like cleaning my own home, but I suppose cleaning someone else's home is a bit different, isn't it? Would you come out and straighten up those pillows here? Yes, we can do that. Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink by the couch. Yeah, let's do it. I feel compelled to share the incredibly cheesy personal insight with you. Is you okay? Yes! Housekeeping Simulator. There's definitely been worse games on Greenlight than Housekeeping Simulator. It almost opened up to us. Dishes need to be washed. The tub needs cleaning. What? Are there any books scattered on the floor in the bedroom? If so, could you put them back on the shelf? Hey. Perfect. Are you done with us now? Come clear the...
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Okay.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Low parrot. Housekeeping. Let's do this. Clear up the books. Yeah, sure we can clear up the books.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Question.
But,
do you enjoy
of course,
this?
It can't last.
What?
The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Okay. Ah, it's a lamppost.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it. This
Items you love
gets
as
a bit
members
goofy.
only. What? Our lecture. With any student. You came here to become perfect. Wait, anyone? Whoa. Are we moving? We're moving. Wow, this person is a better human being than me. Right now, who do you think about the way you are in your life? Who do you know is so well developed as a person they make you feel disgusted with yourself compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful, I intend to make you into that person. Sure. Ah, we're at the front. Perfection's within your grasp. And the question is, not how you do it, but how do we do it effortlessly? That is easy. It is so easy. It's so easy.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
What the fuck?
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
What the hell is... Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? We can't go up the steps, so... What if I'm not a good teacher? No one.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
2010.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Okay, we're going out to a stage. It's a big stage. Is he going to want us to start singing? The performance is about to begin. Places, please. Okay, time to start tap dancing. You'll be playing as me. We're gathering up professionals. Okay. First we start by leaning against this wall. What? Ah, professional photographer animals. Is she gonna jump out at us? She's, what's it, happy, wise, focused, successful. Where's the bathroom? What are you doing? You're deflecting. You're not saying what's on your mind. Stop dancing around and have a conversation with this person. I like you. You're sexy. You got boobs, I think. She talks a lot. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Okay. Bong. Bong. Now touch her again. Okay. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. You're messing it up again. Okay. We're getting too personal. Okay. Let's do it for this again. Bong. Oh wait. Come back. We got a lamppost again. What?
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Okay, 5 months later. What is next? Maybe it's trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. What? I can't keep my eyes closed. I'm trying to reach out. Ah, Space Sim. Ah, something's coming. Look. I can't see it. There's a giant dwarf coming towards us. What?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
What? What? The only way to stop it is to speak something that is honest.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Okay, what? Open your eyes.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
December 2010. Everyone chooses the I can't make this anymore option. Low, silver, and I wonder if there's any stats that are being collected by Steam on those, you know, on the sort of options that are being chosen, right? More desperate. What? How do I get out of here? Ah. Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What is wrong? You look lost. I am lost. When I create, I feel empty. What happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. You have to take me to it. That's it. Take me to the machine. I can do that.
If the
but
last
there is a
game
problem.
featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
These are fat trees. I'll say that right now. These are fat trees. Holy shit. Maybe Coda needs a dock. Maybe, for all fashion.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Close the first door. What's next? Just push the switch. That was so simple.
You
Yes.
can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Yeah, I don't know power. Here we are. So these are the options I chose in the conversations. Trust me, you see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say the game development is simple and joyous, and you love it 100% of the time. Oh, that feels wonderful. Why did I feel awful when I did that? Don't worry, just keep talking. You have to open the door. Yes, these are floating colored blocks.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
How about a TV with surround sound? Oh, yes.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Patience, you trust me. I promise this will work. Please continue. Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it 100% of the time.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Hey, Miko. You're not alone. Hey, Skybound. God. We got a guard at the door this time. Ma'am, glad to see you are studying. What? Oh, lady? We've captured a machine. It's waiting for you. You can begin interrogation if you like. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just wanting someone called to press, so we might have a bit of attention. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Ah, okay. The fuck? It's the paparazzi's holding us.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped. You stopped feeding us. Hello, good night, noob. You don't even know what this game is. It's called a beginner's guide. It's only because of your creations that any of us could make it through the day. So when this happens, you need to go to the people who are out there and apologize to them. I have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. I've been so alone. Apologize for leaving me. That's it. Say sorry, machine. Say sorry. I have seen the thing you fear. I will apologize to the people on your behalf. The press, okay. And my friends, it falls on me to deliver bad news. The machine will not apologize to us. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Yes. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. Follow me, we will destroy everything that the machine has created. This is kind of weird, because obviously I said the machine's called Coda, so we're kind of like, let's destroy what the machine's created. Oh. Okay, back here again. So we're destroying a level we created, right? Coda, I'll make sure your work dies here. Coda, I'll make sure you are known forever. What? Isn't that what you're scared of, exposed to the view of others?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
I said, blow the door open.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all is just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Oh, Coda. We meet again. You're gonna make me shoot him.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
The Tower.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
The Tower, good luck. This is a big gate, isn't it? Look at the size of that. That would hurt if it fell on your head. Where are the light sources for these lights?
This room actually has a maze in it.
Maze? What?
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Yeah, trying to get through an invisible maze, that's not fun, right? Yeah. Yeah, you could just spend half your life getting through an invisible maze. We'll cheat. We'll use the bridge. We'll cheat. Because we're cheaters.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Ah, I was close. Yeah, it's not a horror game, no. Definitely not. I mean, it's definitely got some. Oh shit! It's got some like freaky sounds to make it feel, you know, to add to the atmosphere here, right? Oh, bollocks. Talking of horror games, it is October. I do have a few supposed horror games I want to check out. I'm going to try to check them out. I might check one out tomorrow. I might do it on Sundays in October. We can have
the switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
Where
did I screw up?
Tower. Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
I wonder at times whether you think I'm making these games for you. I don't know, it seemed like, I mean, obviously he was, seemed like up to that point, he was making games, obviously for himself, right? He was expressing himself through his games, not sharing them with anyone. And that's what I take on it. And obviously, at the point where he showed the games to someone else, and he started getting feedback, maybe it made him start to think more about himself, and that's what he didn't really like. He affected my personal space.
The people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
You're so infected, mate. You're so infected my personal space that it's so possible I did begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere hidden between games. Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, I mean, it seems like on the earlier games, he's kind of just expressing himself to himself, right? Because, I mean, he was saying that none of those games were seen by anybody, so he was just doing them for himself. If there was an answer, a meaning, would it make you happier? Would you stop taking my games and show them to people without against my wishes? Yeah, like he said, he doesn't want people to see his games. Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe. Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them. What? Stop adding lampposts?
And then you stopped. And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
When I'm around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a point of the process. The fact that you think I'm frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realize this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine. You're not... my problems are solved. But I do hope that one day it clicks and it might make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything. Whoa, what the...
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please. I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please.
We're gonna get squished.
I'm fading. And all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Fuck! Hey, Nate. Epilogue. This looks like a big train station, like an entry hall or something to a big station, right? I don't know, DJ Freshboy.
More.
Ah,
more
knew it.
Love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
This train has no windows. That's not good. Shouldn't we have windows? It's got a skylight, but that's not quite the same, is it? We want windows.
Solution.
Yeah, I
I
don't
guess
think...
if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Maybe he does. It is more of an experience than a game, DJ Freshboy. I mean, it's like you're just being guided through this story. So rather than being an actual game, it's more like it's a narrative experience. A bit, yeah, interactive story, Skybound, that says. Similar thing, yeah. So you're just experiencing this, and the guy's talking you through it.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
The fuck is this place?
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Walk into the light. Yeah, no, it's to make you think. Yes. It's a thought-provoking game.
What now?
Or experience, I should say. What now, indeed?
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
There's a big hole. Do we want to jump in the hole? I guess that's where we gotta go. We gotta jump in. Let's jump in the hole. Let's do it. Let's just jump in the hole. Let's do it. Let's go. It's a train station again. Or a similar looking one to this thing. Train station. Neat! Follow a goal achieved. Ah. Young. Oh, hello. Thank you for the follow. So right at the beginning, right at the very beginning, first thing you had to do was jump into a sacrifice yourself for the greater good. Okay, so that is some fucking maze. Jeez. That is a bit of a maze, isn't it? The Whisper Machine. Where's my constellation? It's a bit big, isn't it? Alright,